This is Sunny.
Here to talk about One Piece.
Here to talk about One Piece. Have a little bit of drink. Get over it. This is the intro. We tried to warm up a little bit, get ourselves into the, state of mind of talking about the series. And then I had to run downstairs and put some shit away. So, all rhythms thrown off. So, apologies on that. But we're going to start just going in order, just going through number one, and then, just, I guess, just an intro for the, so when did you get into One Piece, Sonny?
I think it was around when I was like 12. So, the first anime I ever watched was Fullmetal Alchemist Brother. The original Fullmetal Alchemist is 2002 one. And the next one I jumped on was One Piece. And when I got to that episode with Sushu, I was addicted to it after that. One Piece has been through with me my entire life. I read it every week, watch the episodes every week. And it's the constant one amazing thing about my life, I would have to say.
Yeah. For me. I would say, for me, I'd probably be... When did I get into One Piece? My buddy in high school was telling me to give every other anime besides Dragon Ball a chance, because I was a Dragon Ball purist, as most full-grown adult men should be. But I was like, fine, because he was my good friend Dan. Dan, shout out to you if you ever see this video. He was a good guy, because he would always challenge my thoughts, and that's good to have in a friend. You know what I mean? And so he was like, first one that he tried to get me into was, funny that you mentioned Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. He said the first one and Brotherhood because he was like, no, there's stuff in the first one that isn't in Brotherhood. And I was like, man, all right, fine. So me and him hung out, watched that, and I think I got to the Mustang and Edward fight in the original series, and I was like,
that shit's amazing.
And then I watched Brotherhood.
Yeah, and Brotherhood's a whole other demon. As much, 2002 is great though. I always recommend it to people. Even though Brotherhood exists, I always tell people you should watch the 2002 version too, because it's a different kind of
I've had this conversation with multiple people where they've been like, "Yeah, I saw Fullmetal Alchemist, but I didn't get the ending." I was like, "Bro, what the fuck? Wait, hold on. Which series did you watch?" And then they're like, "Well, I watched. I don't know. Is there a difference?" And I'm like, "Yeah, there's a big fucking difference."
Yeah, the whole ending.
Because 2002, it came out when the manga was not ended, right?
Yeah,
so they came up with they animated their own ending, and is it serviceable as is? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
I would definitely say though, for me personally, Brotherhood is, if you're not reading the manga, the best fucking version. You have the best payoffs in that fucking series.
I feel like Al is more of a character in it. He gets more amazing fights, especially with Pride.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. You don't get that. You don't get that in the original one. I feel like Al is just a side character. And you get the Armstrong sister in the second one, the whole snow thing when they go to the snow. And even Greed, his backstory is so... when you get all of that in Brotherhood, it's so much better than the 2002.
You don't even get the Northern Wall of Briggs.
Yeah,
in the original.
You don't get any of that.
And thus, our intro has concluded if not. But yeah, we got into One Piece because of Fullmetal Alchemist. So here's a Fullmetal Alchemist recommendation for all of you. Yep. But for the title of the hour, One Piece, we're going to talk about this son of a bitch because One Piece is the shit. Ongoing right now. What chapter are we at?
I think 1150 just released, or 1151.
1151.
Yeah.
And this is after wasn't it a 6-month hiatus from the manga or from the anime?
No, from the anime.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you can see, there's multiple different points of where One Piece is at. English dub, live action, the sub, and the dub are apparently now on simulcast.
Yep, they finally both caught up.
But the manga is 50 chapters ahead, which means that it's past Egghead and well into Elbaf.
Awesome.
Which, and I do not. I've made it past Wano. I've seen Luffy go Gear 5, beat the fuck out of Kaido, and then I was like, I'm going to take a break.
Yeah.
And now I'm currently rewatching all of Onigashima just to see him beat the shit out of Kaido like a fucking Looney Tune again. And then we're going to Egghead. And I think once I get to Egghead, I might
a lot of stuff.
I might stop. I might stop, and I might switch over to the
manga.
Yeah.
I would recommend. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going down in Elbaf. A lot of lore reveals. Merle. Yeah.
Because most of the manga's already like out in paper form, and I like reading it more than I like watching it. 'Cause it goes so fucking fast. Not only that, but like it's funny.
Yeah. And they're still like 50 chapters behind in the anime, so you're gonna get all the spoilers on. It's impossible to avoid them.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd rather just like read it and just be like, oh, that's gonna be sick when they animate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But for chapter 1 through what is this 8?
Yeah,
chapter 1
through
8.
chapters. Normally that's how much of the volumes are.
Yeah, I think it's the 8 chapters.
What, it ends with Buggy or?
Yeah. No, it ends with the Nami whatnot. You know what I mean? When they introduce her, and yeah, with Buggy. But yeah, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, what's he?
Yeah. But I love Volume 1. Volume 1 is a good one because think about it. Just think about it. You got Alvida, Axehand Morgan leaves off with introducing the Buggy Pirates.
Yeah. I mean, even I think just meeting Shanks for the first time and getting that line like when the gun's hold up against him and he's like, don't use this unless you actually mean to use it. Don't use it as a prop, and like, I don't know, everything about that, it just started off so serious.
I liked it.
Like, I like that feeling of that, yeah.
I liked it because he was like, these guys are fighting dirty, and then he's like, what the fuck do you mean? We're pirates. What are you talking about fighting dirty?
Even that. That's the whole point. Yeah.
I was like, it's like you're mountain bandits. Aren't you wanted men?
And it's crazy how like Shanks still's like that to this current day, even when he's fighting Kid again, and he's just like, what do you mean? Like I didn't use excessive force against him.
He beat the fucking shit out of Kid.
Yeah.
And he used Divine Departure.
Not just Kid, the entire fleet
the
was
whole
destroyed.
fleet with Divine Departure.
Sorry guys, there will be a lot of spoilers in this thing if you haven't read One
Piece.
Now I'm not to it. Sorry, guys.
Technically, that's
try to avoid it in future episodes for sure.
Technically, that's spoiled for myself as well, but like it's very difficult to avoid spoilers. You know what I mean? That's why I'm trying to catch up so I can avoid that shit. But bro, uses Roger's move to defeat the entire Kid Pirates. I was sitting there just like this. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Bro, what? And then you got Luffy just straight up. Even before, like he goes like Nika mode. He's got the whole Gear 4, like the different versions that he's like coming up with on Whole Cake. And then when they're like, he's not doing jack shit to fucking Big Mom, and people in like I said, comic book resources, they're always talking about, they're like, he needs another time skip, he needs another power up. I'm like, bro, this boy needs to focus.
Yeah.
he needs to stop eating and he needs to focus.
I mean, even his fight with Katakuri and that's amazing.
That's what I mean when I say like some of the arcs like remind me of other arcs.
Yeah, Top Peak like against him and Rob Lucci was probably my other favorite Luffy fight.
Oh, dude, that fight.
But again, let's stop talking about the future and let's come back to
Thank you,
chapter 1, which is amazing.
Sonny's here to get me off of all the digressions I go on, and I'm here. Yeah, they're all the die words. We're gonna not do any of those shits, and instead we're gonna talk about Volume 1, which is where Peak starts, where Peak Piece starts. Because we get the introduction of Luffy right off the bat. It's different than the anime, and this is the one thing that I prefer over the anime. That is. I think even episode East Blue, they rectify it by putting this scene first. But I still believe it would have been better to have as the first episode, even like as a special or something. But like, bro, I'm telling you, that whole like him like he's like, I want to be a pirate, and then he like stabs himself, and then like Shanks is like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? You're too much of a kid.
Yeah. Like
you're being stupid. Like this is why you can't come out to see. You see how I'm going? Like the whole thing basically writes itself in the best way, where you're just like, you gotta take your time. You know what I mean? Like you have to like enjoy the journey and not just like rush everything. You know what I mean?
And it's crazy because like all Luffy, the entire like who he is as a person, is almost defined in that one. Brief images of those 50 pages with Shanks. Like his entire like wanting to become the Pirate King, how friends mean more to him than like how to protect your friends, etc. Like he learned from Shanks, like his hero.
Let's just talk about that first chapter. Like, I read a lot of manga in my days. I read a lot of first chapters and not read the rest of the piece of shit because My Hero Academia fucking sucks. So does fucking Bleach, and so does Naruto in the fucking manga form. Fuck you guys.
Yeah.
You guys who keep saying that it's better than Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is at least good as a manga. Alright, I'm getting off the divergence. Yeah. Sorry, guys. But still, 50 pages. Waste my time with that 50 pages, and I'll be, by the end of it, I'll be in fucking tears. Because fucking Shanks and Luffy mean way more to me than any of these other fucking forgettable ass heroes that they keep having come around. I want somebody that's ready to fucking run in, fucking fist blazing like fucking Yusuke, bro.
Yeah, Yusuke was awesome.
Yusuke beat the motherfucking shit out of motherfuckers, just like Luffy does. You know what I mean? Like he fucking goes in, hands just, bro. Buy one get one free. You want? Fucking, oh, that's a Yu Yu Hakusho reference just for you guys. Watch Yu Yu Hakusho as well. Watch all the good ones. Don't watch the bad ones. Fucking One Piece, dude, 50 pages. And think about the rest. Think about like how long the chapters are regularly. You know what I mean? Like the huge difference. Not like in quality or anything, but like they're very clearly setting something up in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, what, like most of the chapters, what, like 24, 36 pages?
Not 20. I would say 20 or less. Sometimes 14 if there's some double spreads.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But like...
But the artwork even starts off amazing. I say that.
Yeah,
the first chapter
bro.
for One Piece, that artwork is great.
It's
and Oda has only
amazing.
excelled from there. Like, as we get further and further along, like, his...
Let's show the people.
Like, amounts of detail.
Let's show the people. Oh, shit. Got the good shit. Got the good shit.
But even like that intro with Goldie Roger, just like
that good shit.
Talking about the One Piece and everyone to go find it where he left all his treasures.
Hell yeah!
It caught me from there. Like it's
I'm not gonna lie to you. I actually love the way that they do it in the show. I love it. I love the way wealth, fame, power, Gold Roger, king of the pirates. He gets it's literally crack for kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like giving the kids Cocoa Puffs and fucking Frosted Flakes, and they gotta snort up their nose and go, and they go, look, fucking wealth, fame, power, let's fucking get it. Bro, but this shit, the way that they present it in the book, it's like a fucking, it's like an actual account of what happened, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, Gold Roger, the king of the pirates, had achieved it all. You know what I mean? Like, the way it's even, like, text and, like, just, like, it's the way it's presented. I love the presentation and the choice of panels that
chose, yeah.
Yeah, like, it's so measured, and everything just bleeds right into the next thing. That's why this is one of those ones that's like such a page turner for me, where I'm like, I could probably go through all of Alabasta in a couple days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is like one of those ones where I'll just bring it to work.
I mean, this is one of the few animes I can constantly rewatch or like. And so enjoy it, like I was watching it for the first time.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's one of those. It's just like Full Metal and like Dragon Ball for me, where it's like you not even you let enough time pass. You're just in the mood to watch it, and you start watching it. You're like, this is bringing back all of that feeling that I used to have when I was young and loved life.
Yeah, it's like pre-depression and pre-adulthood, you know.
Pre being a depressed adult. But seriously, no, like it's good to reflect on chapter 1, you know, and where we've come. I mean, think of how far we've gone. You just told me it's 1151.
Yeah, that's a lot of chapters. Very few mangas even reach 1,000. Not even Naruto or Bleach. They ended before that.
Nope.
Naruto was 700, Bleach was like 600 and something.
You got like what, Detective Conan, right?
But those are different. They're more
no, those are different types.
They're not like One Piece in the sense of like the world building and like the constant antagonists and stuff like that. Where like Detective Conan is more like Law and Order. You're watching. Even like that the boxing one. I think those are other long ones, but those are more like episodic. I feel like sometimes.
And they're different than typical shonens. You know what I mean? Like Baki, like you just said,
Yeah.
Hajino Ippo, like those ones have gotten big over here in recent years. But like, think about it. Back in the day, nobody fucking watched People would talk about Slam Dunk. People,
Yeah.
because Slam Dunk was fucking,
Yeah.
who never misses. He literally never fucking misses. Oh, anybody, go read Vagabond and Slam Dunk. If you want to have your mind blown, that shit is fucking.
I mean, that's kind of where like slam dunk made basketball famous in Japan. That's why a lot of people in like, the Asian countries watch a lot of basketball.
Think about all the fucking super popular sports mangas that are around
Yeah,
now.
oh yeah, it's because of slam dunk. We
Yeah.
only got that. I really like the
The
football
soccer one, yeah.
and the soccer one, Blue Lock, which is out now. Ice 21 is
The
great.
fucking the swimming one is.
There's a golfing one now, I think too. Like,
Yeah,
like
there is.
there's anything they can
Bro,
make.
first of all, just so everybody knows, if you're not familiar with anime, there's an anime and a manga about everything. Like literally, basically about everything.
I think there's one someone reincarnated as like a vending machine nowadays.
Bro,
like,
there's an anime where robots are fighting God. It's called Evangelion.
that's another one. That one's good. That's classic.
I love that one. Dude, Evangelion is fucked.
Yeah.
Evangelion is one of those shows where you start it and you think it's going one way, and it goes in the most fucked up direction possible.
That's a great one, though. That's a classic.
I love it. No, yeah, because like you're just watching, like, oh, these kids, they're gonna fight evil with robots, and then they're like, oh no, they've become the evil themselves. they've all been turned into Fanta. No, but like think about it, like all these animes we just mentioned, like you have a lot of like really high concept, like even presented also most of the time in like children like type shows, but at the same time like the one thing I love about One Piece is regardless of how big the scope is, right, and how grandiose the presentation is, everything is so fucking followable. You could put a blind deaf person with no cane and they'll find the end. You know what I mean? Like they'll get there because it's very difficult to misinterpret what is being said on these fucking pages. You know what I mean?
That's one thing about One Piece. Like, there's so much things that are relatable to the real world, and it's like it's full of laughter, joy, sadness, and I don't know. I think it does a very good job of hitting every single.
Everybody who's ever existed has wanted one of the three: wealth, fame, or power. Yeah. Most of the time, it's wealth and fame. Some people just want power because they want to destroy things, and they've never had power. You know what I mean? But like, it's the high concept that like is of the time, and they're doing it like within like the realm of how like the medium that it can be done, and like doing this in the same realm that Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is done. You know what I mean? Like that fucking you get some really like those 90s like Evangelion, like Redline, like you get some really fucking high concept shit where like they're reaching, they're really reaching, and like whether or not you think that they got there or not, like you have to give them credit. You don't see shit like this come out of Hollywood. You've never seen shit like this come out of Hollywood. You know what I mean? That's why when they announced the live action, I was like, should we do a little aside for the live action since we talked about Chapter 1?
Yeah, I mean,
because you don't like the live action. There are no spoilers. Sonny does not like the live action, and he does not like the chopper that they have. He doesn't understand. I don't understand it either, but I think he's right. Yeah. Sonny's very rarely wrong about One Piece.
It's not. It's just like I feel like the show doesn't have enough time to take care of everything that it needs to in the show. Like a lot of times they go to these towns, and I feel like those towns are empty. But when you read the manga, like, you get the 3 kids. You get carrot, pepper, and there's like life to that town.
There's people. There are people in these towns.
Like, even when you get Nami's backstory, like, I felt like the whole town knowing about her, like, stealing the money and all that stuff and saving it up for them, that was more important than, like, I felt like we didn't get any of that shit.
Yes. I am gonna...
And, like, I felt like I had no reason to connect to the towns.
I'm gonna agree with Sonny.
The people of the town, like...
I'm gonna agree with Sonny on this, but not just to reiterate the same point.
And I think Syrup Village was trash. Like...
Yeah.
I know the writer doesn't like Usopp, but I feel like yo, he did Usopp a disservice with not having like his whole posse on with him.
Yeah.
Even with I'm not gonna lie, even with Kobe not standing up to Elvira, that shit pissed me the fuck off because one of the things Luffy's biggest lesson was to teach him was like, yo, you're willing to die for your dreams.
Yeah.
That is something he brings up in like chapter number 2 where he's like, yo, I decided to become.
That's why I wanted to take an aside before we got into it because I wanted to talk about the live action because I knew we were going to talk about it eventually.
But just gotta say, like even then, at that point where like Kobe doesn't stand up to Elvira, that pisses me off.
We have no problem with the casting. All right.
Yeah, the casting was great.
Leave
I like all of them.
Leave the cast alone. Like it's nothing to do with Sanji. Emily Rudd is honestly, he knows I fucking hate Nami. I hate Nami in fucking everything. I would watch that bitch be Nami in anything because she's hot as fuck. You know what I mean? Like that just comes down to it. But like Zoro's also good. And then you like Luffy.
They hit it with Luffy. I gotta say, like that was something I was so skeptical about before watching.
You could say that they hit it, but for me personally, it's not the fact that listen. And I get it. They wanted to get a Brazilian dude, and he's got the charisma. It's not that. It's the delivery on basically everything. He's got the charisma, but the delivery does not match how how I think about it in Japanese. Because I think about it in Japanese when I think about Luffy. Because I like Colleen Clinkenbeard, but I don't think of her as the voice of Luffy. Luffy's is like this not even high pitched, but it's like super energetic, and it's just like, yeah, you know, we're gonna get this shit done. You know, like he's just like that dude. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like when you hear like a lady do it, like you know, because they can hit those high voices, but like come down and like the timbre, so it'll like Colin. It's not that Colin Clinkenbeard doesn't work, and Naki. It's not that he doesn't work. It's that like. It almost felt like all of season 1 he was auditioning to be Luffy still, if that makes sense.
I got it.
And that's not like me talking shit on the dude, because like obviously he cares about the character, he cares about the series, and they're all trying their best. I think Netflix really has to put more fucking money, time, and effort more into the set dressing and the script, because the way that they're fucking I think Oda is doing way more than he has to do to dress the script, and I would rather him focus on writing the fucking manga. I'd rather than be like, oh, this is what we have to do? Okay. Yeah. And then just fucking do it. You see what I mean?
I give Netflix credit. I mean, that'd be an impossible task. They gotta adapt something that's over 1,000 chapters.
You think about it like this, though.
The budget is hard for them.
Think about it like this, though, alright? The whole shoo-shoo thing they left out, right?
I know, that to me right there is a big...
Let's just use that as one example. But in season 2, they have to do basically most of the season animating fucking Chopper. Yeah. Chopper is a huge part of the Straw Hats, basically, as soon as he fucking joins.
So I already know that they're probably going to cut his, like, TV time to limit it because of the amount of time it takes to do CGI. Yeah. So I think that's a lot of reasons like a lot of things will get cut from One Piece, because it's going to be the dedication and the amount of effort they're going to need to CGI things.
That's what I mean.
We're not even up to the crazy fights yet.
That's what I mean.
He hasn't even fought Crocodile yet.
The only way that One Piece as a live action would work, right? And this is like for real. And I'm not even. This isn't a joke, everybody. Is that there's this very famous Muslim sheikh who's like a prince of fucking Saudi Arabia.
The one that's bringing DBZ land?
Yes. If he literally funded the live action One Piece fully and had none of the Netflix or the you know, the Larry David people's money, you know what I mean? We don't want none of their money because they're gonna fucking cut corners. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway. Yeah. Now listen, I think the live action was not bad, but
we won't get past Alabasta. I think we'll be lucky if we get Skypiea.
Me and Sonny were talking about this.
Probably Skypiea, because I think Skypiea is gonna come, and then for some reason no one likes Skypiea. Even the people that read I think Skypiea is probably like the best definition of One Piece because he's a pirate. He's going on an adventure. That entire arc is about going on an adventure to the Sky Island. How can you not love that?
Okay,
if you're into pirate and just want,
I believe
it's the essence of One Piece.
Listen,
It blows my mind
I
when
hear
people tell me
you.
Skype is trash.
Do you guys hear him? I hear him. I hear him. I believe you.
Luffy wanting going on a big grand
But
adventure.
this is the biggest thing. Because they've already confirmed that they're not making it to Alabasta this season.
Yeah, they already said that, yeah.
And I think that they're writing season 2 to go into season 3. But the problem is, I don't think it's going to make it past season 2.
No, but Nico Robin's in this, so it's probably going to end it. They're going to do Whiskey Peak for sure. I think they're going to end with Little Garden.
I think they're going to skip Little Garden.
No, you can't skip Little Garden. That's where you meet Mr. 3.
I mean,
Sanji has a big moment.
Think about it. I mean, think about it. Think about it.
And that great moment, because
entire-
Broggy become
Think
big
about
characters in Elbaf. You can't just skip those two guys and have them randomly show up in Elbaf.
But
You're like, why don't you give a fuck about these
how
people?
many episodes was season 1?
8.
Okay, so let's talk about this. In the 8 episodes of season 2, okay? Okay, let's talk about that they're ending. Okay, you're talking that they're ending at Little Garden, right? Or they're ending at Chopper.
Garden.
They're ending at no, they can't end at Little Garden
shit,
because they got Chopper. Yeah, exactly. They got Chopper.
They probably
They're
got
gonna end
Chopper.
beating Wapple.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're gonna end after defeating Wapple. Okay, so this is my biggest problem. Season 2 is gonna basically be Reverse Mountain, which should 100% have its own episode.
Yeah, it's gonna be one episode for sure. And then Whiskey Town's gonna be one episode for sure, or 2, probably 2 minimum.
But probably not. Think about it. Think about it. Because they've already said that they're going to start rearranging where parts of the story come in. Remember?
Yeah.
So I think what they're going to do is it's going to be the Laboon. That's probably going to be 2 episodes right there because they have to go inside Laboon.
I think they're going to try to cram it into 1.
Do you think they're going to go inside Laboon?
Yeah. They're going to do all that shit in 1
Folks
episode.
out there in TV land, do you think that Netflix will put our cast inside of a whale? I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, Sonny.
You are naive. They're going to do something silly. They're going to be like, they're going to... They're gonna I got you. This is what they're gonna do. They're gonna take Planet Earth footage of a humpback whale, and they're just gonna play it. And they're gonna be like, "Look, it's Laboon," and then they're gonna be like, "We're inside Laboon," and it's just very, very clearly like the inside of like Hollywood. It's gonna be terrible. It's gonna be terrible. Oh Jesus. No, but then. Do you think they're gonna do Laboon like smacking his head on the fucking wall?
Yeah, they have. That's the whole essence of Laboon. How can we skip that?
Oh, I hope.
You're defeating his story.
I'm not saying that they shouldn't do it. I'm saying.
But if they skip that,
I'm saying that they're gonna.
They're doing a disservice to Laboon.
I'm saying that.
And if they do a disservice to Laboon, I think I'm gonna stop watching.
I agree.
And then they get canceled because they lose their fan base.
I agree. They don't have much to begin with. I mean, like, because there's a lot of the people who are like us who just read it and are like, this is cool, but I've been fucking reading this for 30 fucking years.
I'm not gonna lie, there was one line in the live action that bothered me was when Luffy was fighting Arlong and he's like, I can't beat you. And that shit pissed me off just because it's like, yo, Luffy doesn't have that spirit in him. Luffy thinks he can beat anyone.
Luffy has literally never said that.
I know, that's what I'm saying, but Luffy would never give up.
I don't mean that like he never said that in the live action. I mean, he never said that ever. He's only said that one time about Kuma at Sabaody when he said, guys, we're too weak. We can't win. Run. Meet at the Sunny. We'll see each other in 3 days. That's the only time. That's the only time.
Yeah, and the entire thing, I didn't think of when Luffy felt defeated. That he couldn't win. But, I mean, like, yo, and then he started to enter the Grand Line and he told me he can't beat Arlong. Then your ass shouldn't be in the Grand Line. I don't know. That shit pissed me off.
No, listen. I'm actually 1-to-1 with you right there because, like, I don't want to see Luffy struggling against Wapple. Wapple's a joke.
Yeah.
He didn't struggle against him in the anime. The biggest struggle is that he ripped Nami's fucking sweater and that she's gonna beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, that's about it. Like, Wapple was a 1, 2, 3 easy win.
Yes. Like, it's one of those things where, like, I like Drum Island for Chopper and the backstory of Hero Luck more than I like the fight with Wapol. Even though I like the fight with Wapol because it's literally only like 10 chapters long. Like it's literally like they fight the two guys, and then he chases Wapol inside and beats him.
I really hope they don't condense fucking Drum Island into one episode. There's a lot in there.
Do you think that they're? Do you think they'll even include Dalton? I think
they wanted the CGI of him turning into.
Yeah,
I bet you like they're not even gonna show those fucking sno bunnies.
Yeah.
That Luffy just picks up like the mom. Like,
no, they're gonna the
Loppins.
The Loppins. Oh, they're gonna they're not gonna do the Loppins. The Loppins. Oh, my Loppins. Fucking Loppins.
I mean, we didn't get Choo Choo, so.
We didn't get Choo Choo. We're not gonna get the fucking Loppins.
Well, we didn't even get half of Buggy's crew in that fucking like.
Yeah, we didn't get that
lame ass.
We didn't get that bowling ball head, dude. I'll tell you that.
I mean, like the Buggy cat. Like,
they literally just needed to find a black dude with a fucking peanut head and put a fucking birthday hat on him.
Even like, oh my god, like I feel like they all just like,
bro.
failed.
I love it because One Piece is one of the most representative. It has people of every color and like it's furry distinction and it like literally everything. It's fucking hilarious. And then the show, the live action is like we have to cast diversity hires, and I'm like, no, you don't. You have no like. Most of these people are fucking black and Hispanic looking anyway. Like you guys are fucking stupid. Think about it.
Yeah.
Think about it. Think about all of the fucking different types of people that okay. Get out of Whitebeard's crew. Think of all of the different types of like shapes and sizes. Lucci is the most Spanish of Spanish dudes I've as a villain. He's got the soul patch and everything. He looks like fucking Carlos Santana.
Yeah. But we won't get to that point with the live action for
sure.
Oh,
dude, no. Actually,
but you know what?
I heard a theory. The theory that I specifically heard about the live action is that they're gonna displace some of the things.
Yeah.
That they're gonna introduce CP9 much earlier. What did you think about that? I think that it's not a bad idea. They just have to do it well. Yeah.
Not a bad idea. I can see that being incorporated really well. Yeah. But my biggest problem is like, why even bother adapting One Piece?
I mean, think about it like this:
if you know you're not gonna make it to the end.
They did they did the Garp chase scene from Enies Lobby in season 1.
Yeah.
No, not Enies Lobby. Sorry, it was Water 7. But still, like they did that in season 1. I'm like, you're gonna introduce Garp, but why the fuck is he fucking chasing Luffy?
Yeah. I don't know, that also, like, just threw me off, like, the whole fight between him and Luffy before he enters the Grand Line. I feel like, no.
It doesn't make sense, I know.
Like, that, I don't know. Like,
no, it doesn't make sense. No, dude, I rewatched the live action, because it literally only takes me, like, a night to do it. Or maybe 2 nights. And I don't like doing it because it's cringy to me. It's not the performances, like I said. It's the delivery, and it's the direction of why they're doing it. Like you said, they're cutting out a lot of things. They cut out carrot, pepper, and onion from Syrup Village. Huge part of why fucking Kaya actually escapes Django. Like, think about it.
They didn't even have the Django.
They didn't even have.
How do you not fucking have the Django?
They didn't have Patty in the Baratie. Like they did, but they didn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they just had some black dude with a fucking thing around his head. And then they're like, that's Patty. And you're like, Patty literally fights with Sanji. And then there's the other guy with the goggles. You know, there's a guy with the goggles. You remember him?
Yeah.
And they fight, and they do the shark thing, and then they the Patty wagon. Yeah. You remember that shit?
But even the survival, like, there's no reason for Usopp to join the group. Because, like, he doesn't do the whole rescue thing where he shows he's brave. That he's willing to sacrifice himself for the village and not even let them know that he stopped the pirates from getting to the village.
That was actually something that bugged me in the live action.
And I'm like, you're defeating Usopp as a character. Like, I don't even know why he joins the crew on the live action. Yeah, like, what was the bogus reason, like, he's going with them?
The reason is because in the live action, Luffy has, like, it's not that he has no principles. It's that, well, no, he has no principles in the live action. Because, like, in manga and the anime, he slaps people. He fights with Momonosuke all the time. All the time. And after a while, Kinemon even's just like, I can't stop them from fighting. And honestly, Luffy's too strong for me. And Momonosuke is supposed to be acting like a lord. So he brought this on himself. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's one of those types of situations where, like, everything makes sense. Luffy letting Usopp join after he doesn't prove that he can be a brave warrior of the sea very much defeats the purpose of Usopp's entire arc in Sierra Village and why he can leave. Remember, he feels like he has a duty to stay there.
Yeah.
Until he finally gets like the not like the okay from Kaya, but like you know what I mean, like the I'm finally gonna be a pirate. I'm gonna go out to sea. That
Yeah.
you know.
The bravery that I can be brave.
Exactly, the confidence to actually step in your own shoes for once.
Yeah, and then fucking like when we get to fucking Nami's backstory stuff too, in my opinion.
I think listen.
We didn't get anything about her village.
I think it was all terrible. I think the only thing that was good was when they introduced Zoro and he killed Mr. 9 or 11 or whatever.
Yeah.
And the only arc I really liked was the Baratier, and they didn't even do it correctly.
Yeah.
And they left out Gin. That was the one thing I hated the most about the Baratier. They left out Patty, they left out the other chefs, but they left out Gin.
Yeah.
Which brings you back to what you said before about the remake. When they do start remaking it, Gin was technically in the manga, but he was very much a side character.
Yeah.
He was not elaborated on like he was in the anime. Do you think that we'll see stuff like that when the remake starts to come out, where there's things obviously me and you will prefer about the original, but like animation quality and like the way that they tell
I think
the
they're
story.
gonna cut everything and just make it panel for panel almost more. I don't think they're gonna add all the additional stuff and fluff that the original series had.
Do you think?
Because I think they're this
Well,
one.
let me put it in a different context. Do you think when they remake it, it's not even the Ann and fluff, because there's a lot of shit that they don't need in the original anime. I'll say that as somebody who's collected all that shit and paid all that fucking money for all those collections, right? If you guys need to see, I'll show that shit one day, but I got 37 fucking collections over there. Way more of other fucking anime, but One Piece is obviously numero uno for one that I spent the most fucking cash on. And the thing that bugs me the most about the animation, let me put it to you, okay, I'll put it to you in context of two things, for like how I like the original animation, but like how I'm kind of like excited for how the new one will look, but I'm like reserved for what they'll take away from it, right? But let me put it to you like this. Is there anything stopping you from picking up box set number 5 for the manga?
Nope.
The fact that it's not out yet.
Yeah,
That's the only thing. Because me and Sonny are in 100% agreement that it's not like, oh, the books are always better. There's just gotta be a way to adapt it. That it's not 1-to-1. Oh, one chapter, one episode. Because that doesn't make... He just told us. 20 episodes in a fucking 20 pages a chapter?
Yeah.
Imagine trying to fucking expand that into an episode a fucking week, which is what One Piece was at for a while.
Well, yeah, when they first started off, they didn't really have much. Now they're like, they're almost caught up.
It was Ennie's. Well, when was it that they started catching up? It was near the end of Ennie's lobby. That's why they started doing recaps.
Yeah, around there.
And then
you don't really get fillers until you hit around that era.
And then Oda got married, and he was like shaping up Marineford, and then he took a break post Marineford.
Yeah. Now he does his occasional 3-month break or 1-month break. Now he does every year.
Yeah. It's better. Listen, I'm gonna put it to you like this: better than the Miura breaks. The guy who wrote Berserk would literally take breaks for years.
Yeah. I mean, don't talk about the Hunter x Hunter breaks either.
Well, listen.
You're lucky to get a chapter.
This is
decade.
This is actually why I don't like Togashi, is that he ended Yu Yu Hakusho because he didn't like the way that he was being treated, like as a mangaka. And like, listen, I'm not here to be like, oh, like, no, the Japanese manga industry has to grind their artists into dirt. It's like, no, they should give these people compensation and time off from their job. I don't want to hear about Oda having gout or it being infected, or why he can't write. I don't want to hear about that. I'd rather hear about him living a normal, like at least semi-normal, like healthy life. You know what I mean? But all these dudes are fucking dying. The guy who did Berserk, the guy who was doing Vinland Saga had a health scare a couple years ago. I remember. The guy who wrote Nana is like almost dead. He's there's
the working conditions for these mangas are like hard.
Yeah.
Showing Jump, fucking they had to release a chapter a week. That's hard. I mean, even American comics can't do that. They can't do one fucking issue a month. Think about that. That's only 30 pages versus what? These manga people draw 20-page average. That's 60 pages.
Well, think about the difference between the American and the manga. You know what I mean? Because Americans in an issue you get what 60 to 80 pages maybe.
Nah, you only get 30. Well,
sorry, not an issue, but like in like a
volume.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're probably at roughly 200 pages in the volume.
Yeah, but they're colored.
Yeah.
So it's heavier, so they can't put as many pages as a manga.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a different type. You get the illustrator, plus you get the color artist.
Yeah.
Here you just get your editor.
Yeah.
You get your editor, you get your illustrator. You're writing that story, and you gotta be working with that shit the whole time. And the one thing I'll say about it is that a lot of people talk shit on editors and like illustrator, but maybe not so much illustrators, but editors for sure. But Oda's editor was the one that recommended Shanks loses his arm.
Yeah.
That's one of those things where you're just like, he was right. Fuck, you know what I mean? And
but that was so funny because now you think about it, it's like how was Shank with all his ability with the Divine Blast? How did he lose that arm before hockey was introduced and stuff?
Yep.
It's just funny.
Yep.
But I think it's more like it's one of those spur of the moments where you want to protect someone you love, so you don't think about it.
Yeah.
You just jump.
That's exactly how
it just happens.
That's
you know what I
exactly
mean?
how
like,
it's portrayed.
You're not using 100% of your power because sometimes you love someone and you don't. You're just thinking in the moment. You're not thinking about like.
You're worried more about protecting somebody than you are about protecting yourself, which is the most important part about that scene. And that's actually the key thing you were talking about with Luffy before. That like he is. And even to this day, I mean, think about it. When does he ever put himself above others? Only when he's trying to be king of the pirates and somebody else is trying to be king of the pirates before him.
Like he protects his crew first.
Bro, they don't even have to be a part of his crew.
Yeah, they just gotta give him food. That's
bro. When I was reading the Tama thing in in Wano, and I'm just like, this is gonna be animated to hell and back. Meaning like, there's gonna be like 50 episodes just for fucking Tama, and there literally was 50 episodes just for fucking Tama, and it's not like I'm complaining. It just shows you the huge variance from like the manga's pace of being like, boom, that's one volume, holy shit.
Yeah.
To the anime where you're sitting there and you're just like, damn, he's fighting this dude, and he's getting his ass kicked, and he's not even Kaido.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on? This is not good. And then my favorite, honestly, do you want me to be honest about what my favorite parts about Wano so far?
Yeah, go for it.
Is Zoro. Zoro just did the whole wandering Ronin thing the entirety of Wano until Onigashima, and it was amazing. But the thing that bugs me the most is like, I just wish we got full-on separate episodes for him, if that makes sense. Of him, like, because we did in a sense, but they would always cut back to Luffy.
Yeah.
I would rather have gotten like the Ronin goes into town, saves the town, and then he sees that it's how it's connected to Kaido and like why. Especially the way that they do the smile fruit, like that reveal. Oh, we're fucking.
It's like he surprises you. No matter I've been watching One Piece and I always feel like a lot of times when he does these reveals,
it's Otoko,
it hits
right?
you. Yeah.
It's Otoko and no, but then like
And it's a constant the pull of your heart, like even
it's
with Kuma's backstory.
It's the slavery that they have in it.
Yeah.
And then they're like, no, you can't talk about slavery. no, you're not allowed to talk about slavery. And I'm like, bro, I feel like Asian people could talk about slavery because Korean people have been,
Yeah.
Korean people had the longest unbroken chain of slavery of the East Asian countries.
Yeah, I mean they have history of it also that they can reflect on it. But like over here, so
Yeah, it's
you can't ignore history. History happened, you know.
exactly,
Like,
and that's the best
you
part
learn from
about
it.
it is that like for One Piece is good because the way that they show history, it should make you curious about history in the real world. You know what I mean? People who read One Piece for the fights don't get curious about that. They're just like, oh, Garp fucking lost to the Blackbeard pirates. I can't believe it. I guess he's not stronger than Roger after all. And you're like, that's not the point of the fight, bro.
It was funny. Like I'll talk about that always because like a lot of people that watch anime, they always care about these power levels.
Bro.
I don't think I've ever cared about that in any anime I've ever watched. I never been like, oh, this character is stronger than that character. I watch it for the story.
How many times do
Yeah,
I argue with you that the original Dragon Ball is better than DBZ? As much as I love DBZ and I love Super and I love GT, the original Dragon Ball holds a place of... hold up. Y'all can see this. Y'all can see this. I got Chi-Chi and I got fucking Goku. Fucking... There's never been a time where I restarted Dragon Ball where I've had a frown on my face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that same feeling that I have with One Piece, because there's times when I start it and I'm like, I don't want to watch all this filler. But then there's times when I start it and I'm like, I can't wait to get to the Baratier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't fucking wait to see Enies lobby again.
Like, I'm one of those people that watch my favorite scenes from my movies and TV shows. I don't know if a lot of people do that. But, like, I'll just throw up YouTube and I'm like, yo, let me look up that episode of One Piece where this reveal was made.
Yeah.
And like, half of them are not even fights. Like, most of them are emotional, impact moments.
Most of the time I'm looking shit up, it's fucking Whitebeard saying that the One Piece exists.
Yeah. Or even Luffy's punch in Wano when he's fighting Kaido. I don't know if you've seen that one.
No.
That's
Not
one
that,
of my favorites.
not that one. I know what you're talking about. When he punches him in the head when he's a dragon. Yes, but no. But the fucking...
No, I'm talking about the Red Rock one.
Oh,
when he admits that he's
going
to become the pirate. When he takes all, Hiroshima, Wano's hatred and just throws it into that one punch.
And then he Thunder boggles him and he fucking puts him in. Yeah, no, but.
And even when he walks past, like Kaido and Big Mom, like they're nothing. Like he just walks straight past him and goes to Kimon.
Dude, I still look up the fucking Hachi scene.
Actually, that's a great fucking punch. That's probably the best punch in anime ever.
That
to be animated or ever seen.
That is my absolute favorite scene in anything because they're at a slave auction, so it's fucked up already. You don't want anybody who's in this slave auction to win because whoever's trying to bid on slaves is obviously a reprehensible piece of shit. And as soon as Luffy fucking crashes into the fucking slave house, he starts running towards the stage. Yeah. And Zoro's like, "All right, I'm gonna cut that fucking tube so she can get out of there." He's like, "All right, cool. I'm gonna." I love the way that they do it because they do it very like. By the seat of their pants, like, it reminds me so much of when me and my buddy Pat would go around doing stupid shit back in the day where it's just like, I'm fucking stealing this, and then I'm just like, well, I'm stealing all this fucking weed. And then we meet back at his house like an hour later, and he's just like, by the way, I went downstairs in my dad's fridge and I found fucking 8 beers, and I'm like, let's fucking go! It's one of those types of feelings where, like, Oda will fucking surprise you out of the most... You'll be kind of like just reading it and not be expecting things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you read something and you're like, wait, what the fuck? I have to go back. I have to go back and make sure that I didn't like, what did I just read? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, as much as I love Dragon Ball and, like, it's a great series, I've never had that type of thing with One Piece. Like, One Piece has one of those things where, like, I'll be rereading it, and we should probably get to chapter 2 just because, but, like, dude, chapter 2, it's solid. Because remember, this is just where he's like, you know,
Out of the barrel.
it's just fucking.
You get Elvira
And they don't even do this whole part where they're at the port in the anime. You know what I mean? Like they just do, oh, we found this barrel. Like no, like this. It's a little bit more complicated than that, you know.
Yep.
It's sickening because I hate the way that they say no, it's not scripted. Like we have to re-script it for an anime or a live action. I'm like the whole script is right fucking there. If you read it, it's right there. Who says what, when, what they're doing. It's right there. Oh, pushing the barrel. Kobe! Like, you know, who says that? It's fucking Alvita. Yeah, it's easy shit. And I'm just sick of people being like, yeah, we gotta truncate this and get to the good shit. How about you just fucking make it good from the get-go?
Well, sometimes you just need build-up. You like I said, like a lot of things that makes in live actions, like the towns and stuff.
That's what it is right here, bro. Once you get, I mean, think about it. You get past chapter 1. You get past all that stuff with Shanks. And then you get introduced to, you know, here's Luffy. He's going into this thing, and then he's oh shit, it's a big ass fucking whirlpool. So he hides in a fucking barrel. You know what I mean? So kind of like there's your fucking simmer down moment. You know what I mean? And there's your where it starts to build up again. You get kind of, you know, you feel bad for Kobe because he's getting beat up all the time, and he's getting.
Yeah, you find out about his dream, about chasing your
dream.
And
listen. Let's talk about this for chapter 2. What do you feel about Kobe in the anime?
Kobe in the anime, I thought he was fine. Didn't really bother me.
Doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But like compared to the manga, how they like define him and like show you like, you know what I mean?
Well, I thought they did a good job with adapting it with Garp, with him getting his training and what's his name.
Yeah, for sure.
That was good.
But like, you know how in the anime, like how he's just like, yeah, I was just on this, I was like going out to fish one day, and then like I was just on a pirate ship, oh, and like it all plays out like very comical, and it kind of, they do this thing where like, in the anime they got like the Nami is on like this like it's like, yeah, it's like a cruise ship kind of thing that gets raided by pirates. That's the Alvitas.
Yeah.
And like same type thing happens in the manga, but the manga does it in a way where you're at least watching Alvita in port before, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're not just blindsided like, who the fuck are these fucking weird ass pirates with this stupid ass duck ship? You know what I mean? And it's one of those things for me where like when I was reading it especially, I was like, this is different than how I remember it. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, and then like you're reading it, you're like, why are people saying that like the way that it's written in the comic book form it shouldn't be done like this? I'm like, bro, that's dumb as hell. It's right. It's all right there, like perfectly for you.
Yeah.
You could do it word for word. It's so strange to me when people are just like, no, we can't do it like that. And I'm like, why? Fucking why? Because chapter 2, I mean, you know, let's just keep going. Chapter 2 is,
yeah.
Kobe is on Alvita's ship. Luffy gets taken on board in a barrel. Most of the episode and the chapter is like Kobe being like, I just want to get out of here, but I just don't want to get beat up. Like, whatever I can do.
He's stuck in a place in life where he can't move on from.
He wants to escape, but can't.
And we've been through that a lot of times, you know, when you're stuck in a job, but you don't really want to be doing your job, but, you know, you don't have an option to leave because you can't chase after your dreams that you want to. And here comes a guy that's talking to you, like, saying, why can't you? Why can't you take the leap of faith of just, you know?
The only thing that you should be doing in life is chasing your dreams, essentially.
And being willing to sacrifice everything. Because at least you can die happy that way versus...
Exactly. Because then you at least know that you tried.
Yeah.
It's the most important message
that you can get from Luffy.
And thus Luffy is introduced. He's brought on board and then bursts out of a barrel, beats up a bunch of dudes, and then is talking with Kobe, and Kobe's like, oh, you know, like, I just... You know, like I want to become a Marine. You know, but like, you say you want to be king of the pirates. That's fucking crazy. And Luffy just fucking punches him,
And he's like, I don't give a shit how crazy it is. I'm gonna go do it because that's what I'm gonna do. And if you think it's crazy and you don't want to do it, it's not your dream, so you don't have a fucking right to speak on it. You know what I mean? As most people should do when somebody's talking out of turn on something that they don't know about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as it goes, Luffy just kind of beats the shit out of Alvida's crew, and then just escapes with Kobe. That's chapter 2. Is the whole him explaining he wants to be king of the pirates because he's reflecting on what happened in chapter 1. Because we saw it, but fucking, Kobe didn't see it. You know what I mean? But he's like obviously got that determination and that grit to like bring and show somebody like, hey, if you got to do something and you want to be like a Marine Admiral someday, you gotta go do it. You know what I mean? You gotta go do it means you gotta go do it. You don't go sit on your ass and talk about it. You go do it.
Yep. Chapter 2 is fire.
Chapter 2 is fire. How it's animated is like, mad to me because it's just episode 1. Episode 1 to me is like, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Don't get me wrong, but like once you get into like Axel Morgan and then being like, yeah, we gotta go. There's this guy named Zoro, and you're like, he's a pirate hunter. My brain started going like, oh, he's a pirate hunter, so he's gonna hunt Luffy. And there we go. Enter Zolo, the pirate hunter. Do you like the jokes that we get of Zolo in the anime?
It sucks that we can't get Zoro, but it is what it is.
It's pronounced how it's pronounced. You call him Zoro. It is what it is. But point is, you get jokes in the anime. Is why I brought that up. Of some like in what is it? Get some people saying like Zolo when they're like calling his name but like messing it up.
Yep.
Yeah. And you're like, you can just write it correctly because this is the fucking English release after all. But whatever. But yeah. This is where you get our first proper arc.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is an arc. Like this, the whole rest of the book is the arc of just being in. What's this town called?
Can't fucking think of it right now. Name of the fucking town.
Name of the town where Axehand Morgan. Is in charge of. Fuck. Can't think of it. Maybe it's in here.
Well, for sure. They gotta mention it sometime. Shellstown.
Shallots?
Shells.
Shellstown. The Shellstown arc, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
Because it's literally this many pages. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But a lot of good stuff happens. You get Zoro.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. People talk about pacing being bad, and I'm like, this is 3 episodes.
Yeah.
If you take this whole thing, this is like the first, 5? 6?
6 episodes, probably.
Yeah, because 6 is where because you do Luffy's backstory, and then they start doing the buggy stuff. Which is, we're not, chapter 8.
Chapter 8, we're not.
But fucking, yeah, no, it's just like, there's so much in here, especially like how he's introduced, the little girl with the rice bowls.
Yep, and then jumping over the fence, Luffy getting his swords to make
you can't make these. They're supposed to put salt in the rice balls, not fucking sugar. I thought sugar would be sweet.
And then he eats it anyway, and you just get like the sense of who Zoro is as a person.
Which is exactly what Luffy sees because he's like, all right, he'll eat a muddy rice ball because he hasn't eaten in 16 days, and he'll call it the best thing in the world.
Yep. To make the girl happy.
This guy's not bad after all.
And you get the whole comical, the 3.
That's the other thing of just like, there's so much comedy. Can we talk about the comedy in it for a second?
Yeah, there's a good sense of comedy in One Piece.
One Piece is a lighthearted series for the first 300 chapters. Did you say? Until like what? Like until
What until like Robin's backstory?
Yeah, because Robin's backstory is kind of like one of the first.
Very dark.
Yeah.
Very dark. Robin's backstory is very dark. Robin is my favorite character and is getting a mural on my other arm coming July. But that's besides the point. Fucking Robin is way better than Nami. I hold that to fucking nobody can fucking debate me on that. Everybody's like, no, but Nami knows the weather, and I'm like, yeah, Nami knows the weather, and is inexplicably the reason that every fucking ship that they have has survived as long as they fucking have. You know what I mean? But now that they have Jinbei, they kind of don't fucking need Nami because Jinbei is a fishman, is probably the most powerful fishman of all time. I mean, think about his karate compared to like some of the other fishman karate.
Well, yeah, I mean, Jinbei's strong. He's one of the helpsmen.
I'm gonna tell you to be careful with that chair, just because that one's disintegrating
a little bit. I don't want to lean too far back.
Yeah. This is my sister's old chair from her old room. There's a fucking from like 1980 something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Seen these better days.
But back to chapter 2 and 3, I guess, because we're on 3. Shellstown is nice. I like Shellstown because it's the first proper arc. This is where the chapters start being like, all right, this is like 23, 24, you know, like these are the pages that it's going to be.
And you start getting more characters. Lucy's crew growing.
Zoro, the little girl's mom, and then...
Trying to get his first villain, really, because, you know, like, I feel like Alvida's not really a villain because he's 1-2 punch, he's done.
I like...
Where Axe Morgan was kind of more of a villain.
Yeah.
Lasted a little bit longer.
You know what it is? I kind of like that each time in the beginning, they're kind of like, boop, 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 boop. Villain, Marine, villain, and then you talk about the guy who did Usopp dirty, Clawdor. We could allude a little bit. Clawdor, aka what was his fucking name?
Fuck, something with
Cats.
Yeah, something with
Cats
cat
Pirates.
related, yeah.
Cats Pirates.
The
Captain Curl.
Captain Curl, yes. They're all
Captain Curl. Cocksucker. Fuck Captain Curl. Luffy beats the shit out of him.
Yep.
He is a villain. He is one of the first proper villains, and he is a pirate who technically is like right in that middle ground because he technically was declared dead by the Marines, but then he snuck into the service of this lady that was in Usopp's village, and then, you know, there's a lot of, I don't want to call it contrivances, because that's not the word, or conveniences, because that's not the word. But how the story unfolds is how it would unfold. You know what I mean? It'd be like, oh, what if Luffy was late a week? It's like, oh, Kai would be dead. You know what I mean? But that's not how it unfolded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's good. I like it. Especially when you get through, like, Shellstown and, like, the Marines are like, listen, we really appreciate what you guys did for us. But, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Even like the whole, you know, like Zoro and Luffy leaving Kobe behind.
But the salute, and everybody came up and saluted him too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things where it shows you like, yes, obviously, not all pirates are the same, and not all Marines are the same. It's literally a lesson anybody can take away from it. You know what I mean? Just be a good person, and good things will happen. You know.
Well, I often like think about like how Fullmetal Alchemist kind of do the same thing, where like the first episode you get where religion is bad,
Yes.
and the second one you see how science is bad, with, you know, everyone's fucking favorite character who takes his daughter and her dog and turns them into one.
To be fair, that is episode 4.
I know, but like it's kind of like the contrast. They show you that both sides have good people and bad people that abuse the power of what they have.
Correct. There is no like
good or bad kind of thing.
It's kind of like, I like the idea. So when you get into series where like one power, like Warhammer, where it's like one hammer is like this one like way is like supreme race of like being like, this is how we gotta do it, like this is how, you know, that's different because those are ideological and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I like how it's presented in these circumstances for like shonen seinen whatever it might be, where the government just doesn't have all of like the greatest people working for them. They do have some people, like Mustang is a good guy, but yeah, I mean most of the state alchemists in Full Metal are terrible.
Yeah.
Garp is a good guy.
Yeah.
Mamanga is a good guy.
Yeah.
But Sakazuki will do anything to make sure that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That the job gets done. That type of shit. Fucking like everybody has a different sense of justice. That's the thing that I really like. Yeah, okay, like people are like, that's really on the nose, don't you think? And I'm like, it's a fucking kids show, bro.
Okay, yeah, you have to remember One Piece is also a shonen at the end of the day.
It's not only is it a shonen, it's one of my favorite because it's creative as shit how it presents all these things.
Yeah.
I mean, like Kizaru too. Now you're getting Kizaru's backstory.
Yep.
With Egghead and Kuma. At least to a greater extent than you knew before.
Yeah, you get more and more stuff.
You just get more and more. And that's one of those things where it's like, you have to appreciate how far something's come and how much the world has been built up to like have like these two characters have some sort of like a moment together. You know what I mean? Like some of the most unexpected too. Like I never expected Sabo and fucking Dragon to be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you expect when they introduced Sabo that you know what I mean?
Yeah, no one does.
No.
Well, that's the one good thing Oda is at world building.
Well, I wouldn't say the one good thing because I think his character is fucking great.
Yeah, but I think his one major thing is like I think his world building alone compared to a lot of other people has never disappointed.
Yeah.
And his connections have always been on point. His reveals, like even Gear 5, like I love Gear 5. I was a little tempted when Gear 5 was gonna be released, and I saw it. I'm like, there couldn't have been any other better.
Gear 5. That's why I kind of stopped reading because I wanted them to get so far ahead because I was like, I know the Elder Stars are gonna show up, and then they did.
Yeah.
I knew they were gonna show up, and then they did, and then like I didn't think they were gonna show up at Egghead. But I knew they were going to show up at some point. Like, I thought it was going to be one or two of them. Not all five at once.
Yeah.
That was one of those things where I remember vividly, like, I made that conscious decision, and then I felt really stupid because I was like, if I just kept reading, I wouldn't have been spoiled on this level.
Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff that happens in Egghead reveals. And then Elbaf is just following up with a lot more stuff being revealed.
Which is why I'm kind of like taking now to like catch up. Because I'm going to catch up on Crunchyroll. And then I'm going to catch up. I'm going to just start that Viz thing and just fucking read it. And just get a tablet or some shit.
Yeah.
Dude, I fucking hate reading it on a fucking... Guys, physical media. Never don't collect physical media, please. I will always tell everybody to just get physical media. Alright? For the end of... Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I want this to be more center, so it's both of us. You know what I mean? I only had it like this because I was streaming. Also, this fucking thing is barely connected.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. Sunny. Sunny with the sun. Greg at the door. Because everyone's trying to kick me out. But whatever. Good shit. Chapter 3, that was what, 3, 4, and 5 with fucking Axan Morgan and the little girl.
Yep.
And then we got Nami's introduction, which is basically feeding into the Buggy arc. So do you want to talk about that for like the next I guess for next time?
Yeah, we can leave that. 'Cause technically it's another arc. Yeah, I think we covered a good amount of the first volume.
Hell yeah.
90% of it.
Hell yeah. Because Nami's like, you like Nami.
Yeah, I don't know.
He likes Nami more than I do. I don't like Nami.
I think my least favorite Straw Hat's probably Frankie and Usopp.
Yeah.
That's where they fall for me.
I love Frankie and Usopp. Like, it's basically every other Straw Hat is up here, and then it's like Nami and, Sanji after that whole shit with Whole Cake. Because, like, I was very pissed at him because, like, imagine Zoro did that. I just, like, if we could leave off with the whole Nami chapter and then go into Volume 2 next time, but, like, can we just talk about what if Zoro fucking left the crew and was like,
But Zoro will never leave the crew.
That's okay.
The only time
Okay, I see. Okay,
the
that's
only time he would have left
see
is that scene with Usopp where he said, "If you took Usopp back, I leave."
see I see.
That's the only time.
See, no, see, but like I don't. It's not that I don't agree, right? Because like it's actually that principle right there as to why I think it's bad that Sanji left at all without telling them.
Well, I think if Zoro found out that Sanji left, like the way he did in Whole Cake, he would have been way pissed off more at Sanji and Luffy for taking him back. But he doesn't know about the fight or what happened.
Yeah, that's kind of what bugs me too. Is that like I don't know, but I'm glad that Zoro didn't leave. The thing is, here's the thing. Sanji's whole thing is like you're not the first mate. Like, okay, then prove him wrong. Like him leaving is a huge, like, you know what I mean? And obviously Luffy still trusts him. That's not the point. The point it's very much a matter of principle. That's why like Zoro stands on business on that. You know what I mean? That's like my favorite thing about him. It's like he's
a no bullshitter.
That was the best thing, and it's kind of the thing that also bugs me the most of like, why don't they fucking just, you know what I mean? Why don't they just? But they won't. But they won't. But they won't. Maybe eventually. I don't know. Do you think they'll ever tell Zoro?
No. Maybe after all is said and done. I guess after the whole story's over.
Do you think Zoro and Sanji will ever fight about it?
No, I don't think so.
I think they should. Honestly, because like Zoro, I think would be pissed at him. But do you think that Luffy would fucking fight for Sanji and be like, I already settled this shit?
I mean, it's all settled and done. I mean, they're already up to like the end of the story. So I think at this point, Straw Hat are probably going to disband after the end of the series.
Who do you think the traitor would be then?
If it was in the Straw Hats?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because okay, so like, I'll put it to you like this. It's obviously not going to be...
I don't think there's going to be any of the original 5.
Yeah, I was about to say Brook, and then I was like...
Nah, I think Brook would die for Luffy.
Yeah, like it's
they all would.
I think that's the thing, is like, it's hard to say because...
Robin and Chopper, there's no way Robin would betray Luffy or Chopper.
Yeah, like even Jinbei is like one of those dudes that took so long to get in the crew because he was like, I need him
practically with the crew in Saboti, with Luffy at least.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. But
he was an honorable Straw Hat since.
Was that Impel Down when he got
Impel Down /
when he got him out? When he got him out,
yeah.
When he freed him from Impel Down, he like Jinbei was like, all right, I'm no longer in jail because of this guy.
Yeah.
And then he was reflecting on what Ace told him. He was like, just look after him. And then like Jinbei's like, bro, I have no obligation to your brother, just so you fucking know.
Yeah.
And then he meets him. He's like, this guy's kind of fucking cool.
Yeah.
This guy's kind of fucking cool. Like, so it's hard to say.
Nah, I don't think any Straw Hat would betray Luffy because they all had opportunities to, and I think they all said even Nami wouldn't.
No, I don't think now. No,
even when Paige had her up to the point where Paige was gonna kill her, and she said, "I'll let you live if you say Luffy won't become Pirate King," and she's like, "Nope."
If it's she
would have died on that.
It's kind of like so. It's like there's a part of me that wants to say, there's nobody in the first 5 that would betray the
or Robin and Chopper. So that's
I don't think
7.
no. Robin would. First of all, Robin wouldn't because she works for his dad too.
Well, not even that.
But also like low key, she works for his dad, so like, and he saved her life. So and
Brooks wouldn't betray him either. I don't know.
Brooke is a special case because Brooke, as much as I love, there's a part of me that I'm like, but does his love for Laboon outweigh his debt to Luffy? You know what I mean?
I think it does.
Like, what if the world government took Laboon hostage?
Yeah, but he wouldn't betray the Straw Hats.
I know. But they keep doing that as like a plot point. You know what I mean? They keep.
I know they brought it up in Whole Cake about the whole like they were caught and tortured.
They do it in the movies too. Remember in Strong World? Yeah. They were like, we're gonna go to the East Blue and fuck up all of your favorite places.
I don't know. I don't think any of the Straw Hats would give it up.
Okay. Yeah. I'm kind of in the same boat because somebody was posted something that being like, Oda may have hinted that there could be a Straw Hat betrayal, and I'm like,
I doubt it.
Dude, if anybody's gonna do it, it would be Usopp. It would be
Yeah, I was gonna say if anyone
bro.
would do it, it'd be Usopp.
It'd be Usopp again.
And that is the reason why I hate Usopp. He's one of my least favorite.
But I think that what he might do is that it's Sanji again.
Nah, I can't be saying. Nah.
What if he's trying to save Germa again?
No, I don't think he will though. Germa's gonna be on Luffy's side during the war.
Do you think?
Yeah, 100%.
No, because bro, Judge fucking hates Luffy. Judge thinks he's a retard.
But I think they hate the world government more than they hate Luffy. That's what's gonna come down to. There's gonna be a lot of people against the world government. It's not just gonna be against like I'm on Luffy's side. It's gonna be more against the fucking Marines and fucking fighting about him.
Do you think the Marines could turn on the world?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Because it's becoming to that point of like people like doing investigations into the world government. And
I think Akanu is probably going to betray the Marines once he actually really finds out who's in charge. Because he has no idea about Zoom and the Five Elders, really.
Do you think he's behind Sword?
No, it's not him. He's not behind Swords.
Do you think Kong is behind Sword? I think Kong might have a hand in it because think about it, he's still the commander-in-chief.
Maybe he does, but I think I feel like Garp is definitely part of Swords for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Kuzan and Garp are part of Swords, but I would say if Sakazuki doesn't know about Swords, it's like the commander in chief.
You know what it is? I think low key maybe him and Akanu staged that fight. At times I think about that. Because it gives a good reason for him to join Blackbeard.
He lost his leg.
I know, but it gives a good reason for him to join Blackbeard and make it look real. Like, these guys fought it really out.
No, but staged?
Part of it was staged.
You don't think that they actually fought for 3 days and
I think they fought for 3 days.
And the island changed?
Because they had a lot of anger against each other, but there was also probably like, let's set it up at the end. Maybe they made up at the very end.
Because the thing that doesn't make sense to me is that when you think about Punk Hazard, apparently there was a fucking toxic chemical explosion, right? And then they fought there. How the fuck did they get to the island without getting exposed to the chemicals? See what I mean?
Well, I'm just saying, I think they fought it off to just fight it off to make it look like it was a big thing.
It's hard for me to tell because, like, I want to say that it's not staged and that Kuzan actually left. However, due to the circumstances of him actually leaving, it handed him a good opportunity to at least provide intel to people that he still liked in the Marines. Like Garp.
Oh, he's part of Swords
like
for
Kobe.
Sure. He's part of Swords for sure.
But he does like Smoker.
Yeah.
He saved Smoker from Doflamingo.
Smoker. I wonder what Smoker's going to be at the end of the story. What he'll bring up.
I think he'll be an admiral. What do you think? Do you think Fujitora will be a new fleet?
I don't know, but cause I think a lot of these people are going to turn against the Navy once the war happens. Like, Smoker's going to be on Luffy's side, Fujitora will be on Luffy's side.
Because that's what I was talking about the Monkey family before, because Kong is obviously something to do. There's no way that he would be the head of the entire Navy.
Yeah.
Without.
Well, I know Dragon's not a monkey. I think Luffy's mom is the monkey.
But he's Monkey D. Dragon.
No, I don't think he is.
His name is Monkey D. Dragon.
Yeah, but I think he married into the name. I don't think he's Monkey himself.
He can't marry into the No, if anything. Ooh, yeah. Well, you gotta still figure out who the fuck his mom is.